The Fisherman's Rib knit stitch pattern, knitted both flat on straight needles as well as in the round on circulars. Hi, I'm Kristen and welcome back to Studio Knit. This Fisherman's Rib knit stitch pattern creates a classic rib stitch. It's really similar to the 1x1 rib, but this variation results in a thicker double knit texture. It requires more yarn, and there are a couple techniques that may be new to you. The Fisherman's Rib knit stitch is reversible, so both the right and the wrong sides of our work display the same ribbing design. I really like reversible stitches for scarves and blankets where you may easily be showing the wrong side of the work. And this ribbing texture is a simple 2-row repeat, so it's very easy to memorize and great for knitting on the go. This double knit texture does require a bit more yarn than the traditional 1x1 rib stitch because we have a float carried in each stitch, making it extra thick. So you may find that you're using twice as much yarn as you typically would with a regular knit and purl stitch pattern. And this is a great stitch if you want to make sure that it can lie flat. You may wish to block your work, but it's not necessary since the fabric does not curl up. If you enjoy learning new stitch patterns that you can immediately cast onto your needles, please like up this video and let me know that you'd like to see even more. So let's knit it up. Knitting the Fisherman's Rib stitch flat on straight knitting needles, we are casting on an odd number of stitches. An odd number, 1, 3, 5, 7, any number of stitches for the width that you'd like your work to be. My example, I have 21 stitches here. And this pattern is unique because we begin with a setup row. Very simple, we're simply knitting all. And we're creating this extra setup row because we have knit one below on the next row. So we need an extra row of stitches to knit into. Once your setup row is complete, row 1 is K1, K1B. In between the asterisks there, that means we're repeating. So K1 is knit 1, and knit 1 below is knitting 1 stitch below. So you insert your needle from front to back, wrap your yarn, and pull it through. And then that stitch just slides off your needle right there. We'll be doing this a couple more times together. So we repeat knit 1, and then to knit 1 below with our yarn in the back, we're inserting our knitting needle from the front to the back into the stitch below that first stitch there, knit into it, bring the new stitch forward, and drop the old stitch above. One more time, we're knitting 1 stitch, and then knit 1 below. Continue this pattern between the asterisks, knit 1 below, all the way to the end of your row. And here with our last 3 stitches, again, it's knit 1 below, just insert your needle into the stitch below, knit it through, drop off the old stitch, and then we're finishing with K1, just 1 knit stitch here to finish up row 1. On row 2, we begin with 2 knit stitches. So knit 1 and knit 2, and then we begin our repeat of stitches between the asterisks, and we start with K1B, knitting 1 below. So from the front, we insert into that stitch below, wrap our yarn around, knit it through, and drop off the old stitch. And then it's knit 1. And we continue K1B, K1 to the end of the row. Here on the last 3 stitches, we have K1B, K1, and then we're just finishing up with 1 knit stitch, K1. Super simple. This is a 2-row repeat. So that just means on your next row, you start row 1 again and knit it until it is the length that you desire. Now let's take a look at knitting the Fisherman's Rib stitch in the round. I'm doing it on circular needles. This also pertains to double pointed needles. The techniques are similar, but there are a few differences, so I want to take a little bit of time to share how to knit this in the round. This time we're casting on an even number of stitches. An even number is like 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do you appreciate? I am knitting 42 stitches here, and I'm adding a little stitch marker to help me keep track of the beginning of each row. And this setup row in the round, we are going to be purling all stitches. Again, we want this setup row so that we have something to knit into when it's time to do that knit one below. And on row 1 here in the round, we're doing K1, K1B. So we have an even number of stitches, which allows us to go around just with the K1, K1B, no extra stitches outside of our asterisks. The technique is totally the same. We are knitting one stitch and knitting one below all the way around. Now, once we get to row 2, we have a new technique here. Knitting in the round on row 2 is P1B. That is purl 1 below, and then P1, purl 1. So we bring our yarn to the front, and to purl 1 stitch below, we're going to take the tip of our needle and we're going to insert it from back to front this time. Right there into the stitch below, purl it through, and again, we're dropping off that old stitch. Purl 1 and repeat. Let's look at that again. So we're purling 1 stitch below, taking the tip of our needle into the stitch below from behind and bringing it to the front. Then with our working yarn, purling it through and dropping off that old stitch. Knitting in the round is just 2 rows as well. So once you finish this row 2 of purling, then you just carry on by repeating row 1 once you get to your stitch marker. And as always, I have the written pattern totally free over on my website at Studio Knit. I'll have the link in the description for you. You can jump straight to the knitting pattern and print it off. I have an entire playlist for you of all 2-row repeat stitch patterns. Make sure to check that out. And this video right here is a great one that I think you'll like to see next. I will see you there.